we are, Hebrews lesson 5. Lesson 5. We're still in chapter 1, but this is part of where we're just kind of digging into the chapters and just pulling out all of the really great stuff. So we don't want to rush through chapters. We just want to really dig in and learn everything we can from that chapter. So I want to start. If you have the text of chapter 1 out, okay. I'll find mine. Here it is. Because I want to read the first 2 verses again, because this again is the foundation of the whole book. Verses 1 and 2. Long ago, at many times and in many ways, God spoke to our fathers by the prophets. But in these last days, he has spoken to us by his Son, whom he appointed the heir of all things, through whom also he created the world. And we talked a bit about that last week, about in these last days. And when is that? Okay. The days we're in now. So in these last days, he speaks through his Son. Through his Son. What is chapter 1, the rest of chapter 1 about?
Christ is more superior than others.
More superior than who?
The angels.
The angels, yes. So he's doing a contrast, really, of Jesus and the angels. How much do you ever think about angels? Do you think about angels?
Not till this past week.
Okay.
Yeah.
Not till this past week. Carol?
I only think about angels at Christmas time.
Oh, at Christmas. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
No, I believe in them. And I think they come like people sometimes.
Mhm. Yeah. Anybody else?
I think
Go ahead.
about when something miraculous happens and you can't understand it, but something happened that, angels must have been there.
Well, what's the definition of an angel?
Messenger.
Messenger.
A messenger, right? A messenger. A messenger. So let's ask this question. It's on page 29 in your homework. Page 29. Okay. Why would the author of Hebrews start this letter by comparing angels and Jesus?
I think the author wanted us to know that, Jesus is much more than the angels.
Hmm?
Angels are held in high esteem by the Jews.
Okay. Yeah, because remember who our audience is. Okay. So we've talked about this in the overview about who's he writing to, Jewish Christians. Okay, so there's a very much of an Old Testament bent to this. He's coming at them from the Old Testament, from what they know about the law and the Jewish and the Old Testament and what the prophets have said. And he's bringing them to a new revelation here. Jesus is now the way. So yes, in that little paragraph, introductory paragraph on page 29, it talked about that, how the Jews held angels in high esteem, like Mark said, that they would listen to them. They would listen to them.
And they believed that the angels were the mediators between themselves and God.
Okay.
So the writer is explaining to them that they now have a new mediator.
Okay, great. Yeah. So we always have to remember in this whole book that we are bringing them from Old Testament to New, these Jewish Christians. So they before Jesus, I mean, they had the prophets, which they didn't always listen to the prophets. And then they had messages from angels, which they always listened to the angels. And now he's saying, but now Jesus is better than the angels, so listen to him. Listen to him. Where was that? In chapter 1. Listen. Maybe it wasn't there. Maybe it's somewhere else. Okay. So this is first part of chapter 2. Is that what you said, Jim?
Yeah, I think that's what you were.
Okay. Okay. Listen to him. Okay. Right. Because after he goes through the whole chapter about angels, then he says, listen to Jesus. Listen to him. Okay. Okay. So let's talk about these angels. He's contrasting the angels and Jesus. And on day 1 of your homework, there's a little chart where you contrasted angels and Jesus. So let's talk about what you learned there.
He never called
ahead.
the angels his son.
Okay.
And he commands all the angels to worship Jesus, not vice versa.
And none of the angels sit at his right hand.
Right.
Jesus does.
Okay. Where's Jesus sitting?
The right hand of God.
At the
Right
right
hand
hand of God.
Of God.
in heaven.
None of the angels says they're not there. Right. Right. Contrasting.
They're sent out to serve those who inherit salvation.
Mm-hmm. So they are servants. How is Jesus portrayed in this chapter?
He's the heir of all things.
Okay, he's the heir of all things. Creator. Yes. Creator.
Including
Did the
the
angels
angels.
create anything? Yeah, including the angels. So he is the creator. They are created. And again, what the author is trying to say is Jesus is far better than the angels. And so he's making his case. He's the creator. They are created. He has a much better name. What is his name? Other than Jesus, what is his position?
The Son.
The Son.
Yes. Yes. Sorry, it sounded like a trick question, but it really wasn't. Yeah. Yeah. He's the Son. And then he says, but he never called any of the angels his son. So there's the contrast. What do you see about Jesus, like in verse 8?
His throne is forever.
Okay, his throne. His throne. What position do you see him in when you talk about his throne and about his scepter?
King.
Yeah, the king, the ruler. And what do we know about the angels? What do they do?
Serve.
They serve. They serve. So he rules and they serve.
And the angels can change form, but Jesus is the same.
Okay. Okay.
Good one.
Yeah. Blythe says good one. Yeah.
I get a
Extra
star.
points for that.
Where
Yeah.
where it says,
Mary Coe's asking, where was that, Dave?
verse 11, it says, they will perish. Is that true?
Verse 12.
11? Well, that's what verse says, I think.
Oh, yeah,
Verse
they will
11.
perish, you remain.
Yeah.
And in verse 12,
What is
but you
that?
are the same.
Yeah.
I thought it was interesting that in verse 3 it said.
So I guess angels are going to perish.
Yeah. Yeah. Verse 3, he's the exact imprint of God's nature. Right. Are the angels? No. No. No.
I don't know if anyone said verse 4 superior.
Verse 4, superior. In that what? Finish that verse.
As he is a near to his Lord, excellent of merits.
Right, and more excellent than the angel. The name he has inherited is more excellent than the angels. And then he goes on to prove that. When he talks about, has he ever called one of the angels his son? No, no. So what do you think? Is he making a good case for the fact that Jesus is better than the angels?
Yes, he is.
When it comes to that heavenly kingdom, right?
Sorry.
So like I thought it was an interesting, when I was listening to the chapter 2. For all kingdom of heaven, like hopefully will be one day, he is superior. But it was, I noticed that like that when he came to earth as a human, and then they said something in the effect of, but made a little lower than the angels when he was a human form, Jesus.
Okay,
But
yeah.
they have-
Yeah. Yeah, and we're going to talk about that in chapter 2. No, that's fine. That's fine. Absolutely fine. Because, yeah, right. Don't read ahead. Right. Right. Yes. No, we are going to be talking about that, how he became human. So then he became a little bit less than the angels. But that's, but all of these things that he's comparing the angels and Jesus, he's trying to convince them that they should not worship angels. They should listen to Jesus because he is better. Are you guys convinced that he's better?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, especially if you've never thought about angels except at Christmas. Right. That's easy. Right. Right. It is interesting that we don't talk about angels much and we don't
We don't.
think about them much.
You
Yeah. Right. Right. They're in the New Testament. Yeah. Messengers. Dave.
I have a question about angels that I've thought of this week.
Yeah.
Do they have free will?
Yes. I thought that too. Or Satan wouldn't be Satan.
Okay.
Yeah, and he
Well,
was
they can-
tossed
they
out
can
with
sin.
some of.
They
So
must
then,
have, they have a choice.
Yeah.
Well,
And we're going to look at,
I went to the ultimate source for an answer, ChatGPT.
oh, now we're getting into that. Okay, this is the first time Chat GPT has been mentioned in this Bible study. Okay, yeah,
Well, they had an
Yes.
interesting thing to say. They say in Christianity, some believe angels have free will, which allowed for the fall of Lucifer. But those who remained are loyal to God and now serve without the temptation to rebel. Because the next question that would come to mind then is if the angels had, would we have free will in heaven too? And I'm hoping that I would no longer be subject to temptation or sin when I'm there. And I guess I hold on to that claim that someday we shall be like him.
Mm.
And so that means we'd be free from both sin and temptation. But yeah, it was an interesting thought that came to my head.
yeah. I'm sure it's come to other people's heads as well. And we'll get back to that and some of the cross references that we looked up because I think it speaks to that a little bit. Okay, so speaking of cross references, let's take a look at what we know about angels other than outside of chapter 1. And that would be on pages 32 and 33. 32 and 33. We're just going to take a look at those. Again, just what are the things that we learn about angels?
They don't marry or and are not given in marriage.
Okay, they don't marry.
And when the dead rise, they will be like angels.
The dead will be like angels, like we will be like angels.
Yes.
In the fact that what? We won't die anymore.
Yeah.
So they don't die.
They do his will, God's will.
They do God's will.
Yep. And obey his word.
Mhm.
as they did to Pharaoh, the destroying angels.
Okay, so sometimes the doing God's will is destroying.
Mm. They attended Jesus after the
They
temptation.
ministered to Jesus after the temptation.
Right,
Mhm.
right.
Yeah.
So after the 40 days, then he was attended by the angels. We're in New Testament, right? New Testament.
And in Matthew, they will weed out of his kingdom everything that causes sin and all who do evil.
Okay. So that's one of the verses I was thinking about, Dave, when you said, I hope I won't be tempted
Yes.
in heaven. Okay. So all of that will be weeded out. So I feel like there won't be any temptation, just worship.
And also 2 Peter 2:4 talks of what Dave's saying, I think. God did not spare angels when they sinned, but sent them to hell. 2 Peter 2:4, that was one of the cross
That was on page 31, right?
Yeah.
I forgot about that one.
Mhm. I didn't direct you to that page because
Oh, you
all
didn't,
of,
sorry.
that's okay, no problem, because we were going to go there next. So that's good. So there's basically two categories of angels, right? Good ones and bad ones. So we were looking at the good ones on page 32 and 33. And then the previous page talks about the other ones, the bad ones.
I think I would refer them more as obedient ones and disobedient.
And disobedient.
Because the good ones would appear to us sometimes. The Egyptians would say they were bad.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
But they were really good.
yeah.
But they're being obedient. I think that's
And they're not to be worshipped.
So are the bad angels synonymous with demons, or is there two separate beings?
That's
Okay.
a great question.
Yeah, yeah. So let's look at these references on page 31 about Satan and his angels and see if we can figure that out for Mark. So starting with Revelation 12, what do we learn about Satan and his angels?
They were thrown out of heaven. I'm trying to find the verse where it said the angels with them. Oh, yeah, the great dragon was hurled down.
Yeah.
He was hurled to the earth and his angels with him. Didn't say how many, but he had some.
Again,
the third.
A third, yeah.
the third, yeah, a third, yeah. And they obviously chose to go with him.
And they lost their place in heaven.
And they lost their place in
They
heaven.
can't go back.
Now, Revelation 12 is describing the war in heaven, where Michael and his angels fight against the dragon or the devil and his angels. So they fight against each other.
Mhm.
Didn't we study that in Daniel about the
We
war in
did.
heaven?
We did. Yeah, we did. Thank you for remembering that.
So that made me
I'm
question.
never going to forget my study of Daniel. Never.
Yeah, right, right. That was good. But
A question that I had based on this was, can angels then not ever be forgiven? Like we all get forgiven if we ask for it. Could an angel repent and be forgiven by God?
Hmm. Yeah, good. That's a great question. Anybody have any?
Well, the second Peter 2, 4 verse talked about God did not spare angels when they sinned, but sent them to hell, putting them in chains of darkness to be held for judgment. So I don't think there's a chance repentance there.
And Jude,
There was
and
second
Jude
Peter-
6,
Yeah.
What difference?
Yep, and Jude 6.
says the angels that didn't stay within their position of authority, he kept in chains. Eternal chains, eternal chains.
Okay,
Yes.
for judgment.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I think it's probably correct to say that they've had their chance.
Mhm.
We've had our chance. There will be a day where we don't have a chance anymore.
Yep.
Yep, yeah,
Judgment Day.
judgment. And that's, yeah, Revelation.
And their judgment.
15.
It's already
Yeah.
done.
Yeah.
Right.
Then what's gonna, okay, that doesn't.
Yeah.
We don't.
So we see nothing in what we've looked at in scripture that says that they can't. We
Plus,
see their
Christ
future.
died for us and not for them.
Yes, right. Right, they, yeah. So they were, what does Job say? Job 38. When did they exist?
At creation.
Creation, they were there.
Yeah, before creation, before us, and Jesus died for us. So it does appear that there's a difference.
It's quite clear that they're created beings, but they're not part of the creation story
Mm-hmm.
that we have
Yeah,
recorded for us.
right, right.
I have a question if we can go back to the Jude 6
Yep.
reference when it's talking about the eternal chains. So if the bad angels are in eternal chains, then how are we being tempted? And who's responsible for all the temptations towards evil in the world today then?
Okay, let's look at, I'm just going to jump over to, okay, go to page 36. Hebrews 1, okay, Galatians 1:8. We're comparing Hebrews 1:2 with Galatians 1:8. So what do you see about angels there?
But however important angels are, the word of God and the instruction of Jesus is far superior. It's everything.
Okay, and it's,
And there's a possibility that the angel could preach a gospel contrary to the one
Well,
we preach.
it was by an angel. Right. There are other religions that were visited.
okay.
That preached other gospels.
Okay, yep, they preached other gospels. And so, and this is a warning. I'm going to go back to what we were studying before, but to answer Barb's question, then why is there temptation if they're all in eternal chains, right? But they're not all in eternal chains. So, and those talking about the ones in Jude, the ones who left their proper domain, so they are in chains. Okay? They've chosen, they've left, but not all of them have. So here you have an example of even if an angel should preach a different gospel, you don't believe it. There could be an angel that's preaching a different gospel. Okay? So is that one of Satan's angels? And look at the next set of cross references here with 2 Corinthians and 1 John.
2 Corinthians says that Satan himself masquerades as an angel of light.
Okay.
The deceiver.
Yeah. So Satan has been cast down to earth, and he's here. Okay. He's here. So he is still operating, trying to deceive people.
But not with impunity.
Right. Right.
I think his chains restrict what he's allowed to do.
Mm-hmm.
I think when we think of chains, I think we're thinking of it perhaps in terms of they're bound,
Yeah.
they can't do anything, they can't go anywhere, they can't do anything. I don't think that's it. I think their chains have more to do with they can't go to heaven, they can't be there any longer.
Mm-hmm.
They're bound by what God will allow them to do. They would do far more than they're doing if they were allowed to do so. I think it's
I gotta go back.
more metaphorical chains than it is
Then literal.
think of in terms of physical chains.
So we can also see on that same page, 1 Corinthians 6:2-3, specifically verse 3, that do you not know that we will judge the angels?
Yeah, we will.
Mhm. Yeah. So they are, because Satan is still alive and well on earth, and he will be defeated, in the end, but he's still here, and he's still out there tempting. And there's that spiritual warfare that you read about in Ephesians. It says we don't battle against flesh and blood, but we battle against the forces and the principalities in high places. So there's always a spiritual warfare going on that we saw in Daniel, that we see happened here, this battle between the angels, and then Satan was cast to the earth. Okay?
We see it in the garden.
Yeah.
Satan was present in the garden.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he was.
So the ones who are in chains are the ones obviously who have made decisions, choices. So some, but not all of them are in chains, because we know they're still here on earth active. But we also know that God's angels are messengers, that they are here to serve those of us who will be the ones who are in heaven. So there's always the battle. There's always the battle, because Satan still walks the earth, seeking who he can devour. But so knowing that, then how do we respond?
I think
For us to keep our eyes on Jesus. Simple.
Okay, and what do we know about Jesus and the angels?
Jesus is more superior.
Yeah, he is more superior.
He's more superior. They serve him.
Right.
Plus, every spirit that confesses Jesus Christ has come in the flesh is from God. So that's how we can know.
Yep.
that's First John.
Yeah.
1 John 4.
1 John 4. Thank you, Mark. So we have to test the spirits because they are here. Test them. So an angel, someone who appears as an angel light could be preaching the wrong gospel.
Absolutely.
So how do we know? We test the spirits. We test it. Okay. What are they proclaiming about Jesus?
That he's not from God and he didn't come in the flesh.
Mm-hmm. So then we would know we don't listen to that.
You've got to know what God's word, haven't you, to sort out the good and the bad.
Right. How do you know the bad if you don't know the good?
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's why we're in this class. Yeah, that's why we're here. So does that answer your question, Barb?
Yeah, I think it does.
Okay. Yeah. And again, we're answering it from scripture. Okay. That's what we're doing always. Right. The angels. Let's go back and look at some other references about the angels. The angel of the Lord on page 34 and 35, the angel of the Lord. So we have these instances where the angel of the Lord appeared. We want to talk about his appearance. What were the situations? Why did God send an angel in those situations?
In Genesis 16, Hagar, who was his slave of Sarah, was running away, and the angel came to her and said, "Go back home, you are pregnant with Ishmael." And she said, "You are the God who sees me."
So she recognized him, the angel, as coming from God.
Yes.
In Genesis 22, the angel of the Lord stopped Abraham from harming Isaac. I'm assuming that was a voice. Like when the angel of the Lord appeared to Gideon, it was in a person.
Okay.
And Michael but please correct me if I'm wrong. I've always assumed that it was a voice that stopped. Would still be an angel if God says it's an angel, but was it?
Yeah. In verse 11 there, Pat, it says, the angel of the Lord called to him from heaven.
Oh, yeah.
And said, Abraham, Abraham.
Yeah.
So we have one instance here where the angel appeared to Hagar, and then we have the second one where the angel just called from heaven. What about the other passages?
Judges passage of Gideon, where it's called to go out against Midian, the angel consumes the offering. It's made.
Yeah, so Gideon makes an offering,
Right.
and the angel consumes that offering.
He doesn't eat it, he consumes it. He burns it up.
With fire, right?
Yep.
And in First Chronicles, he used the angel to carry out his punishment to David for.
That was interesting there that David was able basically to bargain with the angel of the Lord to keep him from destroying Jerusalem. There was still a price to be paid, but it wasn't the price that
it would have been.
Was originally going to cost.
Yeah.
In that one, it said that David saw the angel of the Lord standing between heaven and earth. So it was more than just the voice. It was an image or the being or whatever.
Yeah.
And then it was a person that appeared to Zechariah, wasn't it?
Yes. What verse are you in, Patricia?
I'm sorry, Luke 1:8, when he comes to Zechariah, who's the high priest or the priest at that time, and tells them that Elizabeth will have a child. Yeah. It's page 35, sorry.
Page which?
35 of our notes, but yeah.
Yeah, because I don't see that. I see Luke 2,
2:8.
Yeah.
but,
I've got
but
1:8 first. Yeah, 2:8 as well.
Oh, I don't have the, I don't have
I don't have it. I
I
don't have
don't
it
have
either.
Luke 1.
Oh,
I have Luke, I have Luke 1:8.
But that's a good one.
I must
Well,
be
yeah, I wrote it.
special.
Yeah,
It's a good one.
I wrote it in my text in my thing because I'm like, this is a great verse,
Ah.
and it's not here, so I just wrote it in.
In these notes, it's the top of page 35, but
Yeah, that's what I have.
not in mine.
Not in mine either.
Not in mine. Maybe they just did that in England. I don't know.
Oh,
Yeah, yeah,
It's a good one, though.
The British
yeah.
version.
But it's a great verse.
yes.
Yeah, if you look
it
at
was-
the notes from the, I think when you taught this class, you taught it or somebody else taught it.
No, it was someone else.
It was someone else taught it. We had it, our notes already, and it is present on page 35, Luke 1:8-13, comma 19. But on the current one we just got for this class, it's not there.
Yeah, it's not, and I don't understand why, because it's really a great verse.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They're both copyright 2014, so
That's what seems odd.
it seems kind of
Some
odd.
editor is in trouble.
Yeah. So Patricia, you have it in yours.
Yes,
Andrea, do you have it in yours?
yes, yeah,
Okay. And you ordered yours from England.
yes. But Mark has it. Did you, in your old notes, was it Mark?
An old one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Ah, it's
Okay, so
interesting.
Luke 1:18.
No,
8 to 13, and then 19. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So the whole account is the angel appearing to Zechariah, and then Zechariah asks he asks the angel, how can I be sure of this? I am an old man, and my wife is well along in years. And the angel said to him, I am Gabriel.
Gabriel.
I stand in the presence of God, and I have been sent to speak to you and to tell you this good news, which to me sums up the whole thing about angels. You know, I am Gabriel, and I stand in the presence of God, and I have been sent to tell you this good news.
But shut up.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think Michael in the Revelation verses that we looked at, I think he's a lawyer. I don't think he's a messenger as much as he's a lawyer.
In the Revelation?
Yeah, where it said, Michael and his angels will fight against the dragon, and the dragon and his angels.
Okay.
He protects,
doesn't he?
Yeah.
Michael protects.
rather than being a lawyer. Okay.
And Michael was the angel in Daniel, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes. Michael is the angel of Israel.
He's the angel.
The angel of Israel. He's there.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
So
Right.
that,
Isn't there a distinction though in this section that they're making between the angel of the Lord, capital Lord, and just an angel like Gabriel or Michael?
Well, I think Gabriel is an angel of the Lord. So I was wondering that too, Jim. It's like there are angels that are just angels, okay? But then there are specific angels and they're named. Michael and Gabriel are the only two ever named.
Named.
But Gabriel says, I stand before God. There's another place, okay, in Luke 2 at the announcement of the birth. No, with Mary, the angel that was sent to Mary, I think was Gabriel.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
The lesson seems to imply that the angel of the Lord could be the pre-incarnate Christ. Which I think is
Right, yeah, which is very possibly the difference between the other appearances, because the angel of the Lord, the incarnate Christ, pre-incarnate Christ. So,
and there are different, that's not the word, categories. There are higher angels, because it does talk in 1 Timothy about 5:21. I command you in the Spirit of God and Jesus Christ, and the highest of angels. So there are different hierarchy. Thank you. Hierarchy system, a hierarchical system for the angels.
That was hard to say. Yeah, yeah.
But this points out another one of my life's problems that some things I just don't understand because we already looked at the first chapter about they're going to perish. And yet we see Michael early on in the story, we see him in Revelation. So when are they going to perish? I don't know.
Of the angels?
Yeah.
Only the angels of
they're-
deceit, the angels of Satan will be the ones that perish.
Wait, other ones will be forever in heaven.
Yeah, because those the angels of Satan's will be they'll be judged and then they'll be thrown into
The lake of fire.
the lake of fire.
Verses
So
10 to 12 doesn't
let's see.
say to me that it's just the fallen
Oh, okay.
angels that are being referred
But
to
it
here.
does say they will perish.
They will perish, but you remain.
In verse
And
11.
I mean,
In Hebrews.
Mhm.
we're talking about a dimension that we don't understand.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I thought
So
I thought the verses 10 and 11 were talking about, Lord, you laid the foundation of the earth in the beginning and the heavens. So I thought it was talking about the
Oh,
earth
and
and the heavens.
the
not
heavens.
the
Oh yeah,
angels.
That's what I
yeah.
thought
The
too.
heavens will perish.
Oh, that
Yeah.
could
Yeah,
Which they will.
be the way it is.
yeah.
Huh.
No, Barb, I think you're right because the context there is you laid the foundation of the earth in the beginning and the heavens are the work of your hands and they will perish. The earth will perish. We know that's going to happen. Right. So, yeah. So this, again, that's just how we stick with the context, to understand what it's saying. So, yeah, so the earth definitely will perish. So we have, so I thought it was interesting that Gabriel was the angel that always brought the news of the birth of Jesus. When he came to Zechariah, father of John the Baptist, announcing the birth. He came to Mary. He came to the shepherds. The shepherds. I think it was Gabriel that came to the shepherds in Luke 2.
Yeah, but Revelation 21, 1 says this, Then I saw a new heaven and a new earth, for the first heaven and the first earth had passed away, and the sea was no more. So there is to be a new heaven and a new earth.
Yeah. 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 Good. So people, okay, in these instances that we just looked at with Hagar, with Abraham, with Gideon, with David, they all received a message from an angel.
Right.
Okay, and what was their response to that message?
Always fear to start with.
Yeah, fear.
To start with.
And then did they listen to the angel?
Yeah.
Yes.
So every one of these, they listened to the message of the angel. Think back to the prophets. When the prophets gave a message, did the people always listen?
No.
Almost never.
Almost never. Almost never. Yes. But they always listened to the angels. And Hebrews says that Jesus is better than the angels. So listen to him. Listen to him. That's the case he's making. So to his Old Testament thinking Hebrew Christians, he's saying to them, well, you understand this, you understand the prophets, you understand the angels. Jesus is better. So listen to him. Listen to him. Any other thoughts about the angels, what you've seen here? How do you feel about angels now?
thought Hebrews 13, verse 2 was interesting, that we should not neglect to show hospitality to strangers, for thereby some have entertained angels unawares. So they must still be here with us, obviously.
Yeah.
And we just maybe don't recognize them as such.
Yeah. And I know people who will tell you, yes, I had an experience with an angel. And I believe I did once, so I can't be certain, but I think I did. Okay. In the human form. So I think they are still here. And it says that they are ministering spirits to those of us who will receive salvation, which is in that text is not salvation, forgiveness of sins, but like in the text of when God saved the people of Israel out of Egypt and from their enemies, salvation from our enemies. And in the end, the victory will be Jesus's, and we will be part of that victory. And in the meantime, the angels are to serve us. So maybe we should think more about angels.
I think because we knew Jesus first, the angels didn't seem that big a deal.
That's a good point. Yeah.
I mean, I already have access to the most important person.
Yeah.
Amen.
Yeah. Yeah.
I suppose context, because I still marvel when I read this, that who he's writing it to and how outrageous almost it must have seemed. But we're used to Jesus first, as was just said. And it's easier for us to understand that angels are great, but they're not as important.
Yeah. No, I love that. I love that. We knew Jesus first. That's awesome, right? That kind of explains it all about why we're not that taken up with angels.
But if you didn't have Jesus.
Yeah.
Right. Right. Yeah, and there are people that don't have Jesus, and so they are sometimes fixated on angels.
Yeah. Well, and that's what it says about the Jewish people when I was allowed to go into the commentaries. That's one of the things that it said, that one of the reasons Hebrews was written was because they were putting more emphasis on angels rather than on Jesus. And so this was also to help them understand the deity of Jesus and why it was more important to focus on him, have their truth and their life in him, rather than elevating angels.
And that's why it's always really good to understand the audience. Who is he writing to?
Mm-hmm.
Because that piece always helps us to understand why he's saying what he's saying.
Right.
Yeah. And that's why we spent 3 weeks doing an overview of this book. Yeah. And hopefully now you can see how it's easier to plug things in because we know the beginning, the middle, and the end.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good. Any other observations?
No, just a funny thing. My camera's not working, sorry. But when Carol was talking about Michael being the warrior, I thought she said Michael was the lawyer. And I was trying to figure out how we got lawyers into Revelation.
I did too. I thought, oh, a lawyer angel. Yeah.
I'll check it.
Yeah, right. Yeah. So Dawn,
That's
she's gonna
good.
check with our legal department here on that. Yeah.
I was
Graham
going
will
to
let us know.
let you know too, Linda, that last week in our officers retreat, I preached from Hebrews 4 on the rest of God and the importance of that rest. So I'll have a few comments about that when we're there. But it was when I was doing the overview
of Hebrews, reading through the whole thing, that I forgot about that whole section, and how sometimes as believers, that's probably the commandment that we break and don't think anything of. But anyway, that's my only comment.
Okay, great. Well, we'll look forward to more from you when we get to chapter 4. Yeah, excellent. And I love that you preached from Hebrews, because this is one of the reasons that I like doing this class, is because especially for officers, because it gives you material to preach from. So I feel like that's a great benefit of this class. So besides for us, it also gives officers an opportunity to preach solid meat. So thank you for doing that.
I had to do an IT training today.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Ron says he's sorry.
No, it was like 5 minutes, but the video was because a giant company had gotten taken for $25 million or something by AI video phone call. So like this person thought they were on the phone with their CFO and was paying bills, and it actually was a scam. And when we were talking earlier about like knowing the word and making sure that you're testing, it was very reminiscent of the training, like having things in place so like what you're doing, and so you're not getting fooled. And I will take that one to the bank, because I literally was like, oh, that training was exactly what we were just talking about.
Yeah.
When it comes to the word.
Right. Thanks for sharing that.
And Satan is clever. He makes things
very.
Yeah.
Very. But we know the truth.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And that's what we have to remember. He is clever and he is still functioning. So, but we also know that that greater is he that is in you than he that is in the world. So we do not have to listen to him about anything. He has no power over us unless we give it to him. So that's the truth. Okay. Yeah. He's still walking around, but we know who's greater.
So here's the chunk. It's totally missing the 565. And then here's where they pay the other one. Just for backup. They should just be able to avoid it. Sorry. Hang it.
She stopped talking, so I didn't know if I thought they were done or not.
Right. Figured I'd just give it to you.
Okay, thank you.
Oh, okay. I was trying to understand what that question was. It was somebody else. Okay. All right. So what's our takeaway today? What's going to be our theme for the week?
Jesus is superior.
Jesus is superior.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think my other big one is test the spirits. Test
the spirit. Test
yeah,
the spirit.
Be wise.
Right.
And if we pray to God for wisdom, he'll grant us that. And that's a promise of scripture. So I can't really count on my own wisdom. I have to depend on God's.
Right. And what are you going to do if you see an angel? How are you going to know it?
Don't have
Yeah. I mean, yeah, you might be entertaining angels unaware, so just be kind to everyone.
I'm going to ask if they're a lawyer.
Oh, yeah. Right. Ask if they're a lawyer. Okay. All right. So thanks everybody for